Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. May peace and blessing be upon us all. Bong Jia and warm greetings from Indonesia. His Excellency Minister Shader Balbalio Filho, Honorable Ministers and Delegates, ladies and gentlemen, thank you, Brazil, for welcoming us to this remarkable city, a living monument to modern vision and national aspiration. It reminds us that bold ideas, when grounded in purpose, can reshape a nation's destiny. Allow me to introduce myself. My name is Agus Harimurti Yudhoyono, the Coordinating Minister for Infrastructure and Regional Development of the Republic of Indonesia. This marks Indonesia's first participation in the BRICS Urbanization Forum since joining the group. As the world's fourth most populous nation and a pivotal country in Southeast Asia, a region of dynamic growth, we bring both weight and hope to our shared pursuit of global prosperity and sustainability. Today we gather as representatives of diverse nations, yet united by a single conviction. The future of our people will be shaped in our cities. President Prabowo Subianto has placed that conviction at the core of Indonesia's development agenda. Like many of you, we face the twin pressures of rapid urbanization and escalating climate risk. Today, more than half of our population lives in cities, and this will rise to 70% by 2045. Urban growth must therefore be sustainable, inclusive, and resilient. Yet, 1 in 5 Indonesians still lacks access to safe, affordable housing. We cannot accept a future where opportunity is gated by geography or income. No one must be left behind. Our response is an integrated approach that connects land, housing, transport, water, and energy into unified, sustainable infrastructure systems. Each investment is designed to deliver multiple dividends: decent jobs, stronger resilience, greater dignity, and lasting prosperity. That same spirit animates this forum. The BRICS members and partners are home to over half of the world's population. We produce over 2/3 of the world's steel and cement, the backbone of housing and infrastructure. And with China and India set to add 670 million urban residents by 2050, our choices will shape how billions live, move, and thrive in the decades ahead. If we align our expertise from Brazil's social housing innovation, Russia's resilient cold climate urban engineering, India's digital public platforms, China's transit-oriented megacities, to South Africa's community-driven upgrading, and now Indonesia's archipelagic connectivity, we can set a new global standard for inclusive, low-carbon urbanization. The road ahead is clear. First, empower local governments to lead on people-first housing. Equip cities with the authority and tools to design local climate adaptation plans that integrate safe, affordable homes with access to jobs, education, healthcare, and transit. Resilience starts where people live.
Aku kan sekarang pakai Happily, popok celana dewasa 3-in-1 pertama di Indonesia.
Transit. Resilience starts where people live. Second, invest in sustainable infrastructure. Prioritize integrated ecosystem restoration and urban development from Southeast Asia's coastal mangroves to climate-smart transport corridors in rapidly growing cities. These interventions reduce risk, lower emissions, and improve urban quality of life. Third, unlock transformative finance. Blend public budgets, private capital, and multilateral support, especially via the new development bank, to scale climate-resilient housing, net zero infrastructure, and digital tools for urban risk mapping and mitigation. Finance must meet needs and drive impact. Looking ahead, BRICS has a chance to lead with purpose and action. Let us carry forward the spirit of collaboration and turn shared principles into tangible progress. Indonesia stands ready to contribute with data, pilot projects, and practical policy tools. Together, we can shape an urban future that is inclusive, climate resilient, and rooted in the priorities and innovations of the Global South. Distinguished colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, Brasilia proves visionary urban design is achievable within a single generation. And our task is to match that audacity with resilience, equity, and climate justice at its core. Let us seize this moment, build together, and ensure that every city, from Surabaya to Sao Paulo, from Shanghai to St. Petersburg, becomes a gateway to opportunity. Thank you. Obrigado. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Today, we are honored to have Mr. Agus Harimurti Yudhoyono, Coordinating Minister for Infrastructure and Regional Development of the Republic of Indonesia, with us.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. May peace be upon us all. His Excellency, Secretary General of the Boao Forum for Asia, Mr. Zhang Jun. Excellencies, distinguished delegates, ladies and gentlemen. A century ago, Asia was a fragmented region, recovering from wars, colonial legacies, and economic challenges. Today, it is the world's economic engine. But the question remains, will this be the Asian century? Or will Asia's rise contribute to a century of shared global prosperity? That choice depends on what we do today, in moments like this, where dialogue must translate into real action. It is a great honor to stand before you today at the Boao Forum for Asia, an event that has become synonymous with dynamic regional cooperation. This forum brings together leaders, thinkers, and decision makers who share a common mission, building a better future. Of course, some of us might also be here for the networking, nice weather, and the good food. But let's pretend it's mostly about the mission. All humor aside, this forum has been instrumental in shaping regional cooperation. Looking back, the 6th President of the Republic of Indonesia, Susilo Bambang Yudhoyono, my father, attended the BFA Forum in 2005 under the theme, Asia Searching for Win-Win, the new role for Asia. That same year, Indonesia and China signed a strategic partnership agreement, ushering in a new chapter of bilateral cooperation, one that was elevated to a comprehensive strategic partnership in 2013. Today, as we discuss sustainable development in a transforming world,
we build upon the foundations laid in the past. Transforming is a polite way to saying that our world is unpredictable, complex, and often quite chaotic. We face global disruptions, geopolitical tensions, economic realignments, technological upheavals, and climate change all at once. It is tempting to focus solely on crisis management, but times of uncertainty are precisely when we must think bigger, act bolder, and collaborate deeper. Excellencies, distinguished delegates, ladies and gentlemen, Indonesia believes that sustainability is not just about surviving crisis, but about uplifting people, protecting the planet, and fostering prosperity. It is about building resilience for the long run. And resilience is like a good investment. It doesn't always yield immediate returns, but over time, it determines whether we thrive or struggle. Under the leadership of President Prabowo Subianto, Indonesia is prioritizing an integrated approach that connects infrastructure, food security, water management, and energy sustainability. These issues are not separate challenges. They are deeply interconnected. If we neglect one, we weaken all. If we strengthen them together, we create a foundation for lasting stability. Let me give a simple example. Imagine you build a state-of-the-art highway, but it leads to a region without reliable electricity, poor water access, and struggling farmers. What happens? That highway remains underutilized, investments stagnate, and communities see no benefit. Infrastructure must serve people, not the other way around. This is the model Indonesia is developing, an integrated, people-centered approach to sustainability. We are now investing in stronger irrigation systems to protect against droughts and floods, resilient rural logistics to connect farmers and the markets, renewable energy expansion, because no country can sustain long-term growth on outdated energy resources. But we recognize that Indonesia is not an island in this effort. Just as our provinces are interconnected, so too are our nations. The same challenges we face, climate risk, energy security, food resilience, are also challenges for the entire region. Therefore, our efforts must be part of a larger regional vision. The question is, how can we take what works at the national level and scale it up for broader regional benefit? This brings me to my next point. True sustainability requires cooperation. No nation can solve these challenges alone. If we want sustainability to be more than just a conference buzzword, we must work together across borders, across sectors, and across industries. Excellencies, distinguished delegates, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to highlight three critical areas where regional cooperation is no longer optional. It is essential. Number one, infrastructure connectivity, the backbone of trade and growth. Trade does not just happen on paper. It moves through roads, ports, railways, and digital networks. A region without connectivity is like a smartphone without internet, full of potential but unable to function. Indonesia supports greater collaboration in cross-border infrastructure, ensuring the economic growth is not concentrated in a few hubs, but benefits the entire region. Number two is the energy transition. Green growth must be a shared mission. Transitioning to clean energy is not easy, especially for developing economies. But let's be clear, fossil fuel dependency is not a long-term strategy. We must mobilize green investment and create mechanisms that make sustainable energy affordable, scalable, and inclusive. For instance, Indonesia is home to the world's largest geothermal potential, and we are actively developing it as a sustainable energy source. We believe that collaborative platforms like the Asia-Pacific Climate Partnership can accelerate regional decarbonization. And number 3, digital transformation, growth with ethics and inclusion. We are entering a new era of digital transformation where AI, big data, and automation will refine the entire industries. Technology is only as good as the governance behind it. AI has immense potential to optimize energy use, improve healthcare, and revolutionize education. But without ethical safeguards, it could deepen inequality, displace jobs, and raise critical security concerns. Indonesia supports the creation of a global AI governance framework to ensure that innovation serves humanity. Technology should empower people, not marginalize them. Excellencies, distinguished delegates, ladies and gentlemen, in an era of shifting global alignments, we stand at a crossroads. Will Asia become a battleground for great power rivalries, or will it emerge as a unified force for stability and progress? Against this backdrop, ASEAN must reaffirm its role as a pillar of peace and stability in the Asia-Pacific. For decades, ASEAN has upheld the principle of regional solutions to regional challenges, a principle that remains just as relevant today. Its commitment to dialogue over conflict and to ensuring that no nation is left behind must not waver. By strengthening ASEAN-led mechanisms, deepening security dialogues, and reinforcing multilateral partnerships, we can ensure that the Asia-Pacific remains a model for people-centered development, environmental stewardship, and shared prosperity. And just as importantly, a model for peaceful coexistence. Excellencies, distinguished delegates, ladies and gentlemen, time is not on our side. The choices we make today will define the course of history. Some call this the Asian century, while others believe global leadership remains with America and Europe. But must leadership be a zero-sum game? Should we compete for dominance, or can we forge a new model of collaboration? This should not just be Asia's century. This must be everyone's century. A century where no one is left behind. A century where economic growth uplifts people, safeguards the planet, and drives shared prosperity. A century where we innovate responsibly, invest wisely, and govern ethically. So let us ask ourselves, what role will we play? What action will we take tomorrow, next week, or next year? Because the future is not something we wait for. It is something we build together. Let us then turn this discussion into policies, investments, and lasting change. Thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Who commence the high-level segment?
Good afternoon, everyone. Warm greetings from President Prabowo to all of you, and also deep appreciation to the government of South Africa for the warm hospitality and excellent arrangement. Actually, I've just arrived maybe an hour ago. It was a long flight, but I'm really happy to see all of you here. And I think this is a huge step to strengthen our relationship, and our commitment to expand collaboration with Africa remains very strong. With collaboration, the emerging economies can shape the future. Global growth must not only be strong, but also fair and inclusive. The visit of President Ramaphosa a few weeks ago to Indonesia reflects deep cooperation between the two countries. Both presidents agreed to have visa-free entry. So I think this is good news for all of you. No more visa. And also to push trade and investment on agriculture and energy. Indonesia also committed to expand outbound investment in South Africa. South Africa is our strategic partner and gateway to the African market. At the same time, Indonesia also offers industrial capacity, human resources, manufacturing network, technology, and entry to ASEAN market. The launch of Indonesia and South Africa High-Level Business Council demonstrate how government and private sector can work together. I also welcome the signing of MOU on strategic industry today. I hope this will bring great benefits for both countries. In closing, I want to emphasize on our commitment to improve investment and economic cooperation with Africa. So if there are any issues, please inform us. Here with me is one of our best ministers, vice ministers, and ambassadors, and of course, our friend from Kadin, Indonesia. And we stand open to assist all of you because Africa is the continent that will set the pace of tomorrow. Africa is growing really fast and full of potential. Africa is the future, and Indonesia wants to build that future together with Africa. Thank you. Your Excellency, President Ramaphosa, Excellencies, leaders of G20 countries, let me begin by conveying warm greetings from President Prabowo to President Ramaphosa. Also deep appreciation to the government of South Africa for the warm hospitality and excellent arrangement. We commend South Africa's leadership in steering the G20 through a challenging year. This is a historic G20 summit, the first being held on African soil. This milestone marks a profound shift where the Global South is no longer a bystander, but a co-driver of Global South. Excellencies, Indonesia believes that global growth must not only be strong, but also fair and inclusive to uplift each and every nation. Indonesia welcomes the G20's focus on sustainable finance, yet ambition must go further to close gaps and to pursue adaptation, mitigation, and transition that is just and fair. The world needs financing that is more accessible, predictable, and equal, especially for developing nations, through debt relief, innovative financing, blended finance, and green transition mechanism. Indonesia allocates more than half of our national climate budget, around $2.5 billion annually, to support green MSMEs, agricultural insurance, and climate-resilient infrastructure. Indonesia also promotes financial inclusion. Our national CRIS digital payment system demonstrates how a simple and a low-cost digital solution can push participation in the economy and minimize inequality. Emerging technologies such as crypto asset, digital tokens, including Bitcoin, may create both opportunities and risks. Therefore, Indonesia proposes that the G20 initiate dialogue on intelligence economy. Indonesia believes that every country is entitled to chart its own development path because there is no single model that fits all. There is no such thing called the best method. Cooperation must empower, not dictate. Cooperation must uplift, not create dependency. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Vice President.
Your Excellency, President Ramaphosa, Excellencies, leaders of G20 countries, in many parts of the world, crises are intensifying. Global solidarity and decisive leadership are needed to address them. Indonesia commends South Africa's leadership in advancing energy, water, and food security. For Indonesia, food security is not just an economic agenda, but a fundamental necessity for our people. For that reason, the President of Indonesia is focusing on the food security and free nutritious meals for 80 million students and pregnant women as strategic investment. That promotes the use of local products, empowering farmers and livestock breeders while expanding economic activity in many areas. On the other hand, as an island nation located in the Pacific Ring of Fire, Indonesia faces more than 3,000 disasters every year, from earthquakes, floods, to volcanic eruption. For Indonesia, resilience is not a slogan, it is a daily reality. Drawing from these experiences, Indonesia promotes the concept of sustainable resilience, a framework in which human development, economic growth, and environmental protection can advance in harmony. Excellencies, today's disasters are not only natural, many are the results of human action. We see this in Gaza, Ukraine, Sudan, and the Sahel, and many other regions, where conflicts reduce homes to rubble, deprive people of hopes and livelihood. These tragedies remind us to put humanity at the heart of global governance. The world must not allow and normalize preventable human suffering from becoming the new normal. As a forum representing 85% of the world's GDP, the G20 carries a moral duty to lead by example, ensuring that growth and resilience become two sides of the same coin, driving hope, prosperity, and justice for all. Thank you. Your Excellency, President Ramaphosa, Excellencies, leaders of G20 countries, a fair and just future for all. This is our shared goal. But we must be honest. Are we moving toward that future or drifting away from it? AI will define economic strength for decades to come. Yet today, its benefits remain highly unequal, concentrated in a handful of companies from a few advanced economies. If this imbalance continues, the digital divide will deepen. History has shown us when progress is uneven, the benefits flow to a few, while the costs fall on the many. This time, we must do better. This revolution must be fair, and it must be good for the people. The G20 must ensure that AI becomes a force for inclusion. This means ethical governance and, more importantly, equal access, so innovators everywhere can access data sets, training system, and global platform. Indonesia believes inclusive transitions are possible, and therefore we support G20 Decent Work Compact for fair wages, gender equality, reskilling, and social protection. Excellencies, AI may be digital, but it depends on the physical. From data center to advanced chip, AI relies on critical minerals. And global demand for these inputs is growing fast. But for too long, developing countries exported raw materials while the real value was taken elsewhere. Past industrial revolutions were built on this imbalance. We must not repeat it. This is why Indonesia chose a different path. We build industry at home and invest in downstream transformation and ensure our people benefit from their own natural wealth. This is not about closing doors, it's about opening fair partnership, linking investment, technology transfer, and responsible practices for critical minerals. Excellencies, a fair and just future will not happen by itself. It requires leadership and cooperation to ensure this new industrial revolution lifts all nations, not only a few. Indonesia stands ready to work with all of you so the G20 becomes the bridge between innovation and inclusion, between progress and justice. Indonesia believes that the future must be built on justice. Justice in how we govern new technologies, justice in how we use natural resources, and justice for our workers. Thank you.
Thank you, Vice President.